Hello everyone. Today we have our third session on letter writing. So far, we've discussed the changes in CBSE pattern, how the letter is now a 10-mark question with internal choice. Then we've discussed the format of a formal letter. We have discussed the types of formal letters. And in our first session, we discussed the letter to editor in detail. In the second session, we took up a letter of complaint. In both the first and the second sessions, we discussed the points that need to be taken into consideration when writing these individual letters. We saw a sample letter. Then we also discussed a template that can be accommodated into a letter. And we also had two practice questions for each. In today's session, we're going to discuss reply to a letter of complaint, and we're also going to discuss a letter for placing an order. Let's start. We already know why a letter of complaint is written. Now, if you're at the receiving end of that letter, you get that letter, you have to write a reply, and that's what we're going to discuss. Okay, now we need to remember that we are the service provider, we are the business, the firm, and we need the business that we are getting from this customer who's written this complaint letter. Okay, so we cannot offend them in our letter. Ideally, the letter should be such that you accept your mistake and you ensure them that you are going to do your best to rectify that mistake. Okay, until and unless the customer is not making an irrational request, you accept whatever is being asked for because you need their business. Okay, it's also about the reputation of the company. If you keep giving out bad business, then people will not come back to you and will um, talk badly about you in the market. Okay, and you don't want that to happen. So you write a letter of complaint and you have to use the language appropriately. Okay, so clearly address the problem and the trouble caused to the customer. You address the issue at hand. Okay, fine, this has happened and you are going to look into that matter. Apologize for the error on your side. You accept your mistake and you say sorry. Clearly state the course of action you will take for the risen issue and the time until you will do so. Okay, so this is what you're going to do about this issue, and by this time the issue would be addressed. Assure the customer for no more future grievances and troubles. You tell them this mistake will not be repeated in future. Be very clear and specific about every detail. A sample letter for a wrong order sent. Okay, so somebody had placed an order, and by mistake, as a business provider, as a service provider, you sent the wrong order. Now, I have not discussed the format of the letter here because that remains the same. You're going to put the sender's address, the date, the receiver's address, subject, salutation. Then will come the body, which I will discuss on this slide, and you close it with a complimentary close and yours sincerely or your truly along with your name and designation. Okay, so the body of the letter will go something like this. I certainly understand your frustration at being sent the wrong order last week and realize that you need some of your order immediately to satisfy demand. You're addressing the problem, okay? You acknowledge the fact that, okay, fine, this mistake has happened and you understand the problem that is being caused to them. I hope the merchandise we rushed to you on Monday arrived in time to get you past the crisis. Okay, now you've stated what action has been taken. If no action has been taken till now, then you put down what action will be taken. Please accept my sincere apologies. You're accepting your mistake, you're apologizing, saying sorry. We will make every effort to see that this never happens again. You're assuring them that the mistake will not be repeated. We appreciate your business and will do everything we can to serve your needs. right? So all the points have been addressed in this letter, and this is pretty much what a reply to a complaint letter looks like. Keeping this in mind, let's discuss a rough template or various options for wordings which you can choose while writing this letter. I certainly understand your frustration at the issue. Dashes have to be filled on your own, right? So, what according to the question, according to the problem at hand, you can reword this and realize that what is the problem being faced. Or you can say, I sincerely apologize for, and then the problem, the mistake. Or you can say, thank you for writing to us about the problem, and say sorry that the customer had to face whatever issues they faced. Then in the next paragraph, you can write what is the action being taken. So we have already done this, or we are going to do this. Then apologize. We please accept my sincere apologies for the inconvenience caused to you due to this. Okay, sorry, that's my mistake. Caused due to this, whatever the issue at hand, what has happened. We will make every effort to see that this never happens again. We appreciate your business and we'll do everything we can to serve your needs. Okay, now we've discussed why to write it. We've read a sample letter. We have a rough template in front of us. I'll be sharing this PPT in the PDF form in the group. And here are the 2 questions that you have to do for this particular portion. Now, remember that you had written 2 letters of complaints in for the last class, right? So what you have to do is imagine that you are the recipient of those 2 letters. These were your 2 letters. You are Gaurav, and then you had lost your wallet, right? So these were your 2 letter of complaints. You, as a provider or as the head of the organization, have received these letters. Assume different roles for both the letters, and write a reply to these letters. So you address the problem, you say that you will ensure that this doesn't happen or you will take care of it, apologize, and you say that they're important for us. Okay, I know it's going to be a little tricky in this case because it's about tourism and it's about a lost wallet at a railway platform. Both are government services, so you will have to think carefully before you word out your letters. I would advise that you do a draft first, read it through, reread it and see if it makes sense, and then pen down a final version. Okay. So that's about writing a reply to a letter of complaint. Moving on, we also discuss letter for placing an order. Okay, why do you write a letter for placing an order? When a buyer needs to order some goods, he writes an order letter to the seller. Okay, so I want to buy certain things and I can't go to the shop, so I will write a letter or an email to the shop or the organization asking them to send these things to me. Okay, so logically, if you're placing an order, you have to tell them what all things you want, what number of things you want, what you negotiate with the price. Okay, so discounts if you want, or if you're a regular customer, you can ask for a special discount as well. You tell them what address do you want it delivered at, and you also tell them by what date do you want this delivery, right? So a letter for placing an order has 3 main components. The details of the items or the goods being ordered must be clearly stated. Okay, so complete information such as this is the product. So for example, if I'm ordering electronics for a school, okay, so I want a fan of one particular company, let's say Usha, and I want how many rooms in my school? There are 21 rooms in my school, and each room has 4 fans, so I want 80, how many? 84 84 fans. I hope I'm correct. Please don't laugh at my calculations. Okay. Then if you have a model number, okay, Usha makes n number of fans. If there's a particular model number that you're looking for, right, then you write that particular model number. Or for example, if you're ordering bulbs, okay, so you want a 20-watt bulb, but in that also there's several models. So which model do you want? You put all that in. Excuse me. Then you also put the information related to shipping, the mode of shipping, shipping location, desired date by which you want it, and inquiry related to payment. How are you going to pay? Would it be a cash on delivery? Would it be an electronic transaction? Would it be a demand draft given at the time of delivery? Sometimes people make part payments at the time of placing an order and part payment at the time of delivery. So you need to work that out with the company. General questions that are frequently asked in the question paper are placing an order for school uniforms, books, for sport items for your school team, and other such stuff. Then electronics, furniture, lab equipment. You also have questions on placing orders for perishable items like eatables for parties or some event. Okay, now the next page has a sample letter of order. Again, I haven't included the format of the letter, which you're already familiar with. This is a letter for placing an order of sports goods for a school. Let's look at it. Dear Sir, it is my pleasure to communicate to you that our school wishes to place an order for sports items in bulk with your company. Okay, introduction. We want to place an order with your company. Then the body of the letter says that these items will be used in activities for blah blah blah. All these things for the academic session. Okay, now list of items along with their quantity is given below. Insert the list here. So your list has to have the name of the product, the quantity that you want, and any specific requirement like brand, then that. So you can put it in a tabulated format. And then you move on to saying that you want the order delivered on time and ensure that everything is from the fresh lot. This is another requirement that this letter states. The payment will be made digitally. Okay, so the person has specified that this is how I'm going to pay. It would be great if you could share the time when all the items will be delivered at our address. In this particular letter, he hasn't said that they want the delivery by this particular date. Okay, so they are asking the company by when can they deliver it. It's like negotiating. Okay, so they're basically not saying by this date, but then they've also stated that they want it at the earliest. So whichever is the earliest possible for the company works for them. Looking forward to hearing from you. Yours truly, Ankit. Fair enough? Okay, let's look at a default template. Now, before I move on to this, I want to add another point, which is usually people make an inquiry before placing an order. Okay, so they write to companies asking them for quotations. Quotations basically tell you the rates that the company is willing to give to this particular firm or company or the person placing the order. Okay, so usually a quotation is asked for. The company sends a quotation. If the buyer is happy with that quotation, then with reference to that particular quotation, they place an order. Okay, for example, I want books and I want particular books from a particular press. I write to them and I tell them that I want this order in bulk. Can you please give me your best rates? So they write back to me saying that whatever is the MRP, they are willing to give me a 30% discount, which works for me. So for example, they had written a letter about this discount to me on XYZ particular date. So you reply back to that letter saying in your letter dated this date, you had assured me that I will get a 30% discount on the bulk order. I am happy with that and I'd like to place an order for the following items. You place the order. Okay, so this concept of quotation is something that I had skipped earlier. So usually a quotation is asked for. It's not compulsory though. Okay, but that's another way you can start this letter. Okay, now let's look at the template. We shall be glad if you could please send us the following goods as per the rates quoted in your letter dated. This is one way of starting. This is with reference to your quotation dated dash. We are pleased to inform you that our firm, company, school has decided to place an order with your firm. That's another way. We want to place a bulk order for dash. Now, this is where you can put in your table that these are the items that you require. Okay, then now you ask, after you've put in that table, you ask them for the you negotiate the rates, you ask them for a discount. If the rate has already been discussed, then you don't ask for discount now. But if there is no reference, if there's no reference letter or prior communication, then here at this point you can ask for a discount. We shall not settle for less than, say, 20% discount on the purchase of the following items. Or we hope to get another X% discount, special discount for institution or bulk order buyers. Usually in bulk, people can ask for special discounts. Also, if you're a regular customer, then also you can ask for a special discount. It goes without saying that you'll have to bear the shipping and other expenses involved. It is important to write this in the letter because then it becomes clear who is going to bear the shipping. Otherwise, you place an order at the end of the day when the order is received, you realize that the shipping has been diverted towards your payments. Okay, so it's better if you clear it out initially. Then please pack the goods carefully. Any damage will be borne by you. Please ignore the spelling error there. It's BORNE. I'll correct it in the file that I sent to you. Please collect the amount of invoice by dash. So would it be a DD? Would it be cash? Would it be an electronic transfer? Or you can say the payment will be made by check on receipt of the goods. Whatever is the plan that you have or negotiated or are willing to uh, pay by, kindly ensure that the order reaches us by dash, the date that you want it by, or if you don't have a specific date, you can say in 2 weeks, in 1 week, depending on the distance. Okay, so that's more or less it. You can use these templates to write your letter. Now, as we're following this pattern, after the template, we have questions for you to practice. Now, here are your questions. Write a letter to sales manager asking ordering 5 books that you need for educational purpose. This is a small order. Okay, you need to keep that in mind while asking for discounts and wording your letter. Your Mohan, Eureka Forbes India. Okay, now this is a company placing an order, and you've already had a communication with woodcutters, so there will be a quotation involved here. You feel positive about their terms and conditions, and you want to place an order for furniture. Eureka Forbes, a company, wants to place order for furniture. Okay, think about it, word it carefully, and finish this before your next class. If you have any queries, you can directly write to me asking them, and I'll address them as and when I can. Thank you.